Hello and welcome again to the Nonsense Chronicles. You're listening. This is Doug Sashery, and as always, I'm joined by
Rob Mendiola.
Heck yeah. And today we are working remotely from each other.
Yep.
Rob is back in Texas, and I am in northern Michigan, as far as you can go up in the UP.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's I guess we're going to chit-chat a little bit about this part of the trip today. How's things in Texas, man? A little warm?
It's very warm here, as usual, in June, mid-June. It is what it is,
Well, it wasn't. I was telling somebody that it usually doesn't get to 100. I mean, it can, but not that kind of stretch that early. It's usually, we can get upper 90s, 95, 98, maybe even, but no, what I saw on my app, it was going to be, I think, 8 days in a row of 100, 2 days of 98, and then again with multiple days of 100 after that.
Yeah, and the heat index going to like 110 some days,
Jeez. Yeah, I have.
So being 1,000 miles away is a good plan for this week.
It is, unless you have plants and stuff. But yeah. I have house sitter, and he's doing a great job. So okay. My plants and my grass will allegedly still be in contact when I get back.
Good.
Yes, and by contrast, when y'all were having those temperatures, I was having. I want to say. We had 40s in Ohio and
wow.
Kentucky, and then we got like to 72 in Michigan. But between Paradise, Michigan, which is like basically the last place when you come up through the middle of Michigan, hit upper Michigan, it's the last place you can turn off and go west before you go all the way to the end of the road, which is where the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum is I almost forgot the name of that, at Whitefish Point.
Okay.
That's where I went. And on that little road, and it's only like a 20-mile stretch, there's a 20-degree temperature change.
Wow.
Because you're right on the Great Lake, just like in New Orleans. Yeah, in New Orleans, where the river will keep the city a little cooler, not get as hot as the other areas in South Louisiana. But it'll also keep it a little warmer. You won't get as cold during the winter because, here it definitely cools it, and it definitely was in practice. But it's been a good trip. Just
so are you driving much? Doing both flying and driving?
No, I worked my way up here and
in the vehicle.
In a truck, in an SUV, and I was. Checking stores, stopping, starting, seeing friends along the way as well. And the wife met me in Columbus, Ohio, and visit my mother's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And then
did she fly in?
Yes, she flew in. Okay, cool. She took the easier route, and then we're visiting her family right now up in Marquette, Michigan, which is on Lake Superior as well. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to go down tomorrow to Minneapolis. I am going to work the day, and they are going to go to the Mall of America, which
cool.
I'm glad they're doing. And then I'll be in Minneapolis until, I think, Wednesday morning, because Tuesday night we're going to go to a Twins Red Sox game. So making the whole round, man. But
so what are some of the highlights from the trip so far?
Well, so far on the trip, I would have to say point number one, I went to my music mecca that I've always wanted to go to. It's been on my list for a while. The Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan, and it is everything I hoped it would be, and then some. Ownership and staff is fantastic, very friendly. They're also very professional on how they get bands in and out, and much like the clubs that we see, down in our area.
Right.
The clubs are great there. Most of the clubs I've been to, most clubs have that thing. I just said this place, and I have noticed that when friends that are touring, the Midwest for some reason draws crowds consistently, and they it was a fantastic crowd. Blackstone Cherry was there the night before, and they were sold out. So and this wasn't. I don't think this was a sellout, but it was very close. It had a lot of people in there.
And who was there? Who was there when you saw?
Scotty Austin, Scotty Austin and his band, Jordan Newman and Framing the Red, and also Rehab. Rehab was there. I met those guys for the first time, and they were really nice. And it was a good show. It was a really good show. I got to take that picture in that famed hallway, which at the time, before I went there, I just assumed that it was in the club itself, around the bathrooms or something like that, or exit or something. Nope. It is in the band area.
Okay.
But my friends I have in high or low places got me a picture. They had no problem with me doing that. And
cool.
Yeah, it was really nice to get that. That's kind of a bucket list item. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's a good shot.
We got oh yeah, and then we got as much merch as humanly possible.
Cool.
And then it's a good area. Now Flint, I will tell you this about Flint, it is everything that you've seen in documentaries about the depressed area here and there.
Right.
It is. I mean, there's after the manufacturers left out of that town, there was a lot of room for need, and that you see the homeless situation that got there, and a lot of burnout buildings that used to be there, but the machine shop, it just keeps on going, man. They draw crowds in. In fact, I ran into people along the way that the wife was wearing the machine shop hoodie because it was that cold, and the machine shop, they yelled it out right away. That area is noted. From what people tell me, they have a couple friends, like other people we met up here. They said that that they go there religiously, and that place has a good following.
So even though the economic status there isn't great, they're still pulling in people like that consistently. That's
fantastic. Cool. Yeah, and I'm assuming they come from everywhere.
Wow.
And
so is it mainly,
they must come out of Detroit and stuff.
Is it mainly just for concerts specifically, or is it kind of like a bar hangout thing, or what is it?
Oh no, it's a concert stage. Okay. Everybody they set it up. They clear the floors every day, and every day, I watch them. They were just like more normal. They bring in the tables and the chairs and set everything up for that night. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of tables in the back, and up front is the pit, the standing area, and that front to back they clear. Then they have a great merch area behind that. It reminded me a lot of the rail setup in Fort Worth.
Okay,
maybe a little bit better, but same setup. But just. They can't be beat, man. I mean, wow. I haven't run across it yet, and all the venues I've been in the country. Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, top rate on everything.
Wow.
They are first class.
So Framing the Red is Framing the Red is touring with Rehab right now, or how's that going on?
Scotty is headlining and Rehab and Framing the Red or
support
in support.
Okay,
and it's a fantastic show.
Yeah,
and they all did good. And they're going to be, in fact, they're in the Carolinas as of, I think, the Father's Day weekend. I think they're going down into Florida. And then I know for a fact they'll be at Houston, I want to say the 29th at Scout Bar.
Yeah, something like that.
I know it's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, I hope to be able to make that. So, will you be making that?
I will be. I will be making that. I will be coming from out of town back to make that show.
Cool.
Yeah, and they yeah, it's a really good tour, like I said. And then we did the. I didn't drink the water in Flint, but
Right.
but I was told it's okay now. But
Yeah, I
I
was
didn't.
wondering if that's still an issue or not, but I guess not.
I didn't trust it,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's hard to believe that anybody would be given bad water, but that was the situation they were in for a
Yep.
while. And then, but I will say this about Michigan, and I am talking about every state that I've ever been in. You know my saying on people that drive in the left lane, right?
Right.
It's for passing, and it's the left lane is for passes. It's not for inconsiderate asses.
Right.
Michigan is the best state I've ever gone to as far as people. They get out the way, they speed up, they do what they got to do, but they
Cool.
get out the way. And yeah, that was fantastic. That's also probably the straightest stretch of road I've ever been on in my life, and even more so than like San Antonio to El Paso, because it's not really straight. It's a little bump here and there, but
So that's east
that
to
road
west.
up from
East
yeah.
to
Well, no,
west?
this is
Or
no. It's south to north. Yeah, it is a
Okay.
straight stretch,
What highway is
and
that?
I think it's Interstate 75.
Huh.
I'm thinking, and it goes over It goes right next to Mackinac Island. The Mackinac Bridge is beautiful. It is a beautiful bridge, and you're on one side you've got Lake Michigan, and on the other side you've got Lake Erie, I believe.
Oh,
So I
wow.
mean, it's just or is it Huron? No, it might be Huron there, but it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're between two lakes there. Then when you go up north, you're all on Superior,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. But yeah, the people there were the drivers there were fantastic.
You get any
And
any photos on the road or no?
yeah, I got some shots that I put up on our the Nonsense Chronicle
Oh, okay.
Facebook page, and I haven't done the Instagram one yet, but we need to put them on Instagram. And yeah, I've got some photos, and then I headed over to Whitefish Point and went to another bucket list item of mine, which is the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum.
Mhm.
And it's a small museum, but then they have other buildings and quarters around there that explain stuff over the time. They have a lighthouse, but that museum is unique. I mean, it does have, the Titanic in quotation marks of the Great Lakes
Mhm.
is the Edmund Fitzgerald, which was a freighter that went down in 1975 in
Yeah.
November.
Which
I want to
wasn't
say that maybe
that long ago.
the
It wasn't
10th.
that long ago.
1975. Well, it's not that. No,
Yeah.
I mean compared to today, you don't see the shipping go down that often.
Yeah.
The Faro and a few others, but yeah, it went down, and there was some dives on it. There were some dives on it, but I think in 1993 the
What
dives.
what was the cause for that though? I don't recall.
I mean, they were in heavy seas.
Okay.
The Gordon Lightfoot song. Tells and he did that song right after that incident. So they weren't clear on the cause yet, but the most likely cause is the cargo holds. Either they were damaged by the storm really hitting them, or I mean, he had lost his vent covers, which they had these vents that go down below. And, there's been ships that Derbyshire went down because water went and hit like that during a typhoon. But they think it was either the hatch covers or because of storm, or because of they weren't properly secured. And man, nobody that ever sails wants to, man, that the families there and all that, nobody ever wants to say it. And none of those guys ever wanted to go down like that, I mean, because look, they were gone in an instant. The captain told the the ship that was following about 19 miles behind that they were holding their own, and then that's the last anybody ever heard from them, and that's how quick they went down. And I don't know if it's 500 foot of water there,
Wow.
and
temperatures. What were temperatures during that time? You said in November.
Yes, in November. The
Wow.
shipping season usually ends around there because they call it, the witch of November or the gales of November, and
So it was cold.
they knew they. Yeah, in fact, it's interesting that you can run computer models of any storm system. There's websites that you can do this of any storm system for years past, decades past, and they do show the one. I've seen it before of the storm system. They were told initially, there was another ship. The ship that was following was Arthur and Anderson, and they were told that the storm system was supposed to go more to their south.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it didn't turn out that way. And another ship that followed, that also was behind them, I can't remember the name of, it went more to the north. It hugged the Canadian coast before it came down, which they all would go through Whitefish Bay, connecting to the next lake. And that ship had no problems like the others did because it hugged the coast and it was protected from that wind coming from the north. And they're low pressure systems, but the north wind wrapping around was causing the issue, and that's what they show. I've seen video. They talked about he had lost his decking and and all that. His rails and all that had blown off well before. I think they lost. They had all kind of things knocked off that ship. The weather was that bad. And 30-foot seas, 35-foot seas, and So but this. I think in '93 was the last time they allowed any more dives on it because a crew went down there, and they had actually seen human remains.
Oh wow!
In it. Well, the water's really cold, so it preserves it. There's not the decomposition rate that there is where we live. In the south. And what they did was they put a plaque on there with all the names of the crew. There were 39 people on the boat and on the ship, and they took a torch and they took the bell off the ship and they put it in this museum. So that's very unique. But that was the last time anybody was ever allowed. It's 17 miles off of Whitefish Point is where it happened, and there are. It's in Canadian waters actually where it's at, and it's it's a no dive area. I think there's a buoy on it, but no dives allowed.
Yeah,
and
no permitting for it.
Yeah, but but now that whole area. This is not the first time they had weather on there. We talk about it doesn't happen as much. They've had off of Whitefish Point in that area. They've in Lake Superior they've had 500. I think over 550 shipwrecks.
Wow.
There's a ton. You can take glass bottom tours and see shipwrecks. That's how many they have. And in fact, we picked up a map today for one of my rooms in my house that has a lot of shipwreck stuff. It has locations of several of those that went down. And it's very unique. That
risky business.
I'll say this. It is a very beautiful lake right now.
Yeah.
But there's another thing. That we drove a little bit west on the coast and went to Marquette, Michigan, and there's a very unique thing about this. And I kind of thought about this after the fact, but now I definitely want to come back up because one thing was on another thing on my bucket list, but I think this was a fringe thing that I didn't think I'd get to be able to see, but I will. They do get the Northern Lights here, the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah.
So I've already talked about it. Come back, and there's actually sites dedicated to that to tell when it's coming in better and better. And I've already asked to be warned when it happens. So and I thought it was mainly through the winter, like October, maybe to April, but no, it happens throughout the year. It just depends, But they do have groups, and I will find out about that and get back up here. another thing that's interesting about being up here, at least at this time of the year, guess what time it went dark last night?
9:30.
10 o'clock.
Wow, 10 o'clock. I thought it was later there, but I didn't know 10 o'clock. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's got to mess with you a little bit.
Great. Yeah, it's a little bit different. The sunrise is about 5:30, and the sun went down, and it got dark at 10 o'clock. So
that's crazy.
I was like,
but
that's a little bit different.
But sunrise is early as well. Still.
Oh yeah, sunrise is early.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It was a little bit different of experience, man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you get used to that, but yeah, probably take a while to get wind down, to sleep.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in my youth and in years later in Ohio, but I never saw anything like this. A lot different, So, but
so how many miles do you think you've clocked in so far?
I checked to see what it was to northern Michigan when I got to Whitefish Point. It was 1,500 and change.
Wow.
Yeah, and no, I love it, man. Like I said, I even made coming up as a kid, we went to a lot of those tourist traps in Tennessee and Kentucky, and I actually stopped at Onyx Caves right next to where Guntown Mountain, and now it's called. Actually, it got bought by somebody. I think they're gonna probably redo it, but I stopped at the Onyx Cave right there and went inside that cave. And
I saw that. That's brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even as claustrophobic as I am.
Yeah, that seems really tight.
I will tell you this. There were several ones I could have gone into. And look, I went to a bunch of these as a kid, and the one that kind of ruined it for me is the most beautiful one of all, is Mammoth Cave. Uh-huh. And it's right around Cave City, like that one is between Bowling Green and Cave City. And but when I went there, they had a thing back in the day, and somebody assured me they don't do it now, which I'd imagine they don't. But you used to get in maybe X amount of steps down the stairs, and they'd say, "Whoops, lights went out."
Oh no!
And they'd only do it for maybe a half minute or something. Yeah. But apparently that triggered. Yeah.
Yeah, you could cause some panic.
A little 9-year-old kid, So, but But the reason why I went to Onyx Cave, and those people were fantastic, and the woman who owns it, she guided me through. And the reason why is because I looked at all the different caves. I looked at which ones had different schedules set for tours and stuff. And then this one seemed to allow me the most freedom, where I could go in and out and not have to be stuck with a big group, with bothering, I didn't want to mess up anybody else's time. I just wanted my own time, and it was fantastic. I loved it. It was the stuff that you see in there that you can tell when somebody's touched something and messed it up, and you can tell when they haven't, and it is, very nice. I was very nice to those people, and it was a good experience. Kentucky is filled with caves, man. I mean, they got caves all the way across that state, and it was, anybody can go there and you'll have a great time, but that's that's basically been my.
So what you been eating up there?
I try to keep a low profile, road stomach. It's like a show stomach for a musician. It's I might eat some pho, or a lot of vegetables. And the one thing I actually have is, I had today, the only step out I've had today was wings.
Okay.
So that's usually, I think the only other meat I basically ate on this trip was I had my cousins made some sandwiches in Ohio, and I think that was the only other time, man. Just low profile travel stomach, man. You can do a lot more miles if you don't have to worry about your gut, so
I imagine, it's good call.
That's always a smart choice, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got and so we got Minneapolis playing. I've been there before. It's been, I think, 2016.
So that's where you're heading next?
And, yep, that's the next stop. And then, like I said, the wife and relatives will go to Mall of America, and I'll run some stores, man.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to see what people do, the buying habits outside. I can tell on a computer how much sales are, but I can't see in the store what the shelves look like. I can't talk to people, and it's the thing. We talked about that before. My grandfather and my dad taught me that to look a guy in the eyes or her gal and shake their hand. It makes a lot better impression than just picking up a phone and calling somebody.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, when we couldn't do business face to face, I tell you what, it did pay off quite a bit. Those old contacts bought quite a bit of stuff, but the only reason why they did was because of a lot of face to face time.
Right.
So that's what goes on the road, man. That's part of my journey so far. I have I might, it depends on how long, and it takes a while to go in and out of these towns. So I might not get back till next Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. I might catch one more show on the way home.
Okay.
A little Save and Able.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But that's it. You got any more questions on this remote podcast we're doing today?
No, I don't think so. Just keep us posted and keep posting photos and maybe some videos and stuff and share with us.
I'll do that, man. Yeah. And I will happy Father's Day to all the fathers,
yes.
which this by the time they hear this, it'll be too late.
4th of July.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But also we have a little shout out to our little drummer friend at 309 Departure Band.
307.
307. Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. And down in Huntsville, Texas, he was out with some friends, and this is a kid that doesn't drink, and he was attacked and robbed by at least 7 guys outside of a Whataburger. Yeah, and to the extent of jaw broken and wired shut, he's going to have surgery when the swelling goes down.
Yeah.
He's going to be all right, but he won't be able to play for a while.
And that was late in the evening, right? Or late night? Early
it was
morning?
Like 3 a.m. Yeah, he was out. Yeah, he was out at an establishment having a good time. But like I said, he doesn't even drink. And
it's dangerous being out at that time, just really anywhere, because people look for victims, and it's just unfortunate that he was probably alone and they just kind of spotted him,
Yeah, the thing about it is, his name is Josh Russ. Everybody calls him Josh Russ, and he's a great kid, and he's got a good mom, and I hate saying that. It really scared me the other day when I heard that news, but he's going to be okay. But it doesn't take much to be a good human being and to value human life, of another, and that's really sad to see somebody do that.
Well, let us know if we can do anything for him. Send him a care package or something, We'd be happy to do that.
We'll do, man. I'm hoping to see him as soon as I get back, but that's it from the road, man.
Well, cool. We'll get back together and do it again soon.
All right, Rob, you take care, buddy.
Okay, be safe out there.
And everybody out there, like and subscribe to the Nonsense Chronicles. Thank you for joining us again.